Hey, I'm Ben, and that's MP, and 2.5 years ago we bought a rotten sinking schooner that we are building up from the keel upwards thanks to an amazing team of shipwrights. We are so close and so ready to paint our hull, however that depends so much on the weather. I will be building a gimbal system for our stove and oven in the galley. I've never built anything like this before, and I just want to show you that a self-taught welding rookie can end up building stuff like this. I can almost guarantee that this is going to work. I really hope you enjoy this episode. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on anything. Nico's up there doing some last final touches, while we are going to turn the area where we store our clamps into a very nice area with a gimbal and a air fryer and a stove. There is a big debate going on boats whether you should have a gas stove or an induction, or not even induction, an electric stove or cooktop. We chose to have an electric one, but what we're going to do now is we're just going to dry fit it into place, at least see how we're going to do this, and do some test fitting of the gimbal that goes around it. So that means a lot of screwing, cutting, fitting, gluing, and so on. Right now we're taking a bunch of measurements of this. And I just realized something, not this, for later. Now we have another big box with pizzas on it, which is really, really cool. So this is the air fryer oven. Same here, it uses a lot of wattage and a lot of energy. However, it uses a lot of energy in a very short period. Unlike an electric oven, which you have to leave on for an hour sometimes, an air fryer you only have to leave on for 8, maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes. And yes, we decided to go all electric in our galley, so we weren't dependent on gas, and that we can be self-sufficient based on solar panels, if necessary a generator, but that's not on our list yet. But we can be self-sufficient, not being dependent on exchanging gas bottles and so on. I'm quite happy about that. This is all coming along super nicely. The next step is for me to do some welding, and in the meantime, let's go and have a look at what Adilson's doing, because he's doing something super cool in the bow locker.
We made a flooring in this room to prepare it to become a storage room, also our laundry room. So yeah, we've been giving this room some attention, cleaning it, and we still need to paint the wall, but we're getting somewhere with this, which is very nice. Coming in and out this bow locker is not the easiest task, so we did build a little ladder. We still need to paint it and make the attachment so we can hang it there. and then our lives will be a bit easier. We really cannot wait to get the hull painted on the final color. Rafa, Nico and Ben have been working really hard on that task, sanding the hull, making it as smooth as possible so you can receive the paint. And it's funny because today it's a Monday, and this morning when Ben and I woke up, we're having breakfast, and he looked at me in the eye like that serious and said, "This is the week we're painting the boat." And I was very excited about it. And half an hour later it was raining. Hasn't stopped raining since, and we'll see if it will ever stop this week so we can get painting. So yeah, there are many things that depend on weather, so we're gonna work inside.
We started working on this kind of stove and oven gimbal. However, it's just a few planks of wood and plywood for now. So what the plan is now is add some metal to it, some stainless steel, which is going to be the gimbal, kind of like the axle. So I'm going to try and figure out how that works, because it's not as simple as just adding a screw, and you need to make sure you can remove it, place it, that it actually works, that it's not too high, too low, also the center of gravity. So this is going to be a lot of playing around, but I'm willing to give it a go. I think I have it. I got to this solution a lot quicker than I thought. Now, long story short, or difficultly explained easily, there's going to be a pin on one side and a hole in this bit over here. So the hole here with a little stainless steel tube, you don't want this pin rubbing on wood, there's going to be a hole here, and the pin itself is going to be pushed through from the other side. It's going to be a lot of trial and error, or maybe just trial and success. This isn't the way to do it, of course, but what I'm going to do eventually is have to put the stove on top and the oven inside, kind of find, for example here, where the center of gravity is. But this will only work with the stove on top and the oven inside. Oh, we just do this, easy. The next plan is, I'm going to weld them all and then cut this through the middle instead of have to faff around with smaller bits. This has to be nice and flat. It goes on one of these, the other one goes on here, and that gets cut in the middle, and then this will go through the wood, and that will become the tube that this goes through, and this also has to be welded onto some of these. So it's just a bunch of welding now, and then I'll cut. It's always easier to weld on something bigger. Like I said, this is going to be stick welding. I would love to soon be able to do TIG welding, because it'll be a lot smaller welds, cleaner welds, but this is all I have for now. Hey, can I go?
It's okay.
Can I go? Come.
Yeah, I was so scared.
Yeah, hold it. Good. There you go. Oh, sorry. So I'm here in the bow locker, and you can hear the sanding is already going on outside. It's really cool to have some flooring. It's really cool to have it Purple Heart. I love the colour. We're going to start putting these battens on over all of the frames, so make sure nothing falls down these, and the hull can breathe as well. There is going to be a ladder coming from here down to here, so the battens will stop on this frame, and forwards it'll just be everything that's anchor wise and chain, and everything here more aft will be storage. So the GoPro's in place. Let's hope we can get some nice footage of this because it's a very small room. And I'm going to start working on some other stuff, but I'll be back to check on how everything is going here. Port side is now ready in the bow locker, however we underestimated the amount of wood we had. So we just headed down into the scrap pile. Adilson and I took a break from the hull while Nico's continuing, as you can hear. I love how keen he is about also using scrap wood for these type of things that aren't structural, so he doesn't mind, I think, heading into the scrap pile with me and pulling out some old planks. So we're just going to head over to the planer now and make them all uniform. Get the router to them again, the edges to make them nice and round, cut them into shape and finish this side. You can see behind me that it is a huge mess with wires, steel wires, stainless steel, and what else is there? A long power cable for the anchor windlass. And that is exactly why we need to get this bow locker ready. We have so much stuff, had so much stuff in the container. However, today the truck's actually on its way now. The container is going to be picked up, which is very good, so we can get rid of the container that we were renting, and also that makes us rush a bit with the boat to put everything that was in the container in place. Here we go. As you can see, this storage bow locker is already being put to use. The reason all this is here and not elsewhere is all this at some point is going to go onto the boat. I'm really happy with how this looks. Small gaps to let it breathe, but also not too big because we don't want anything to fall through it. One thing that's still missing here, of course, is like shelves, drawers, places to hang stuff. That's our plan for the future, but now we're happy with this. We've got the lock. It's dry in here as well, and now we can move over to some other stuff.
What do you do when you are at the shipyard and the power of the whole street goes off and you don't have a single drop of energy to work? Do you go home? Well, we don't. We work with tools by hand and we work in the dark.
Down here you can see our air fryer is in place. We're using a leveler, of course, to make sure it's level, because no matter if the boat's sloped or whatever now, this is the most important because the oven and the stove are always I wondered what was ticking. The stove will always have to be level. So we were using this piece of wood here for now to find the center of gravity. However, it's quite wide. This was the conduit for the wires on the roof. So just Adilson's in the bow locker, or he's just come back with a threaded bar, which is a lot sturdier and thinner. Demais.
Eu não vou esquecer também.
All these are now in place and we think we've got the center of gravity. We hope so, because we're going to start drilling soon. We didn't want this any more forwards because we don't want the handles to be sticking out, and later we're going to have this little finishing touch going all the way around, which should be really nice. So I say now we're going to start drilling and put the gimbal. It kind of suck when we change equipment because it'll put it off again, but I'm thinking of later having a kind of weight system on the bottom, so if we do end up changing the oven or taking it out or whatever, that we can play around with weights on the bottom to make it balance. But this is the closest we're going to get right now.
Eu até aprendi a olhar. Já engoliu.
Okay. So this bit goes through here. Of course, that gets pushed through when it's in place, because inside the fixed bit of the kitchen or the galley will be this hole. So then, let's say this is the fixed bit, goes through with a little counterplate here, through this, and this becomes the gimbal system. Nice and sturdy, all stainless steel, nothing wood on wood, nothing rubbing. Now we just need to figure out where we want this installed on the fixed part. So you need to slide it forwards and backwards. Then we can already start drilling and putting some little screws through these counterplates. I was really hoping to show you this gimbal working today, but we need to sand a tiny bit of way on this little corner, which we need the power for. So it's getting dark, we don't have power, we're bodging our way through stuff which we shouldn't, so we're just gonna call it a day for today. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have the shore power, I guess, shore power. We can then drill through here, finish this little gimbal system. And what's cool about having this in place is we can then start working on what's going to come on top of this plywood. We've got some really cool ideas already, but for that we wanted this in place so we could make sure it was all level and that nothing was sticking out, because we also need to stick a bit behind here. So lots of small things to finish. Like I said, we want to get the big stuff done, like this, like the table, like all that back there, before we head into the water, so that later we can only work on the little details like varnishing and little filling some gaps and stuff. So big bulky work now to then soon do the rest. It's been a long day, but yeah, you guys have seen it more in place than you ever have before, which is really cool. You kind of have an idea of what it's going to look like. See you tomorrow. We really hope you enjoyed this episode. This would not be possible if it wasn't for all of you supporting us, so thank you so much. Dwayne, Wiley, Joseph, Greg, Robert and Dwayne for hitting that super thanks button. Thank you Alexander for becoming one of our patrons, and thank you so much Brenda for supporting us through PayPal. We hope you have an amazing Sunday and see you all next week.